So we started this year with our 2023 global theme of living out loud. So each month we will have a theme that's going to help us live our life out loud throughout the year. So our monthly theme for January is to root and reboot. So my talk today is a little bit different than planned. And today I would like to talk about oneness. So going back to the basics of who we really are and who we truly are, that we are all one. So I'm going to begin with a story. Long ago, 6 old men lived in a village in India. Each was born blind. Since the blind men could not see the world for themselves, they had to imagine the wonders of the world. They listened carefully to the stories told by travelers to learn what they could about the life outside their village. The men were most curious about elephants. They were told that elephants could trample the forest, carry huge loads, and frighten young and old with their loud trumpet calls. But they also knew that the king's daughter rode an elephant when she traveled. The old men argued night and day about elephants. An elephant must be a powerful giant, said the first blind man. No, you must be wrong, said the second blind man. An elephant must be graceful and gentle if a princess is to ride on its back. You must be wrong. I have heard an elephant can pierce a man's heart with its terrible horn, said the third blind man. Finally, the villagers got tired of all the arguments, and they arranged for the curious men to visit the palace of the king to learn the truth about elephants. When the blind men reached the palace, they were taken into the courtyard. There stood an elephant. The blind man stepped forward to touch the elephant. The first blind man reached out and touched the side of the huge elephant and said, "An elephant is smooth and solid like a wall," he declared. "It must be very powerful." The second blind man put his hand on the elephant's trunk. "An elephant is like a giant snake," he announced. The third blind man felt the elephant's tusk. "I was right," he declared. "This creature is as sharp and deadly as a spear." The fourth man touched the elephant's leg. "See, it's like a giant tree." The fifth blind man felt the elephant's giant ear. "I believe that elephant is like a huge fan." The sixth blind man gave a tug on the elephant's coarse tail. "Why, this is nothing more than a piece of old rope." Then the men began to talk about the elephant and said, "An elephant is like a wall," said the first blind man. "Surely we can come to agree on that." "A wall? An elephant is like a giant snake," answered the second blind man. "It's a spear, I tell you," insisted the third blind man. "I'm certain that it is a tree," said the fourth blind man. "Fan, there's no doubt," said the fifth blind man. "Don't you see," pleaded the sixth blind man, "someone is using a rope to trick us." Their argument continued, and their shouts grew louder and louder. Wall, snake, spear, tree, fan, rope. "Stop shouting," called the angry voice. It was the king, who was awakened from his sleep by the noisy argument. "How can each of you be so certain that you are right?" asked the ruler. The 6 blind men considered the question. And then, knowing the king to be a very wise man, they decided to say nothing at all. "The elephant is a very large animal," said the Rajah kindly. Each of you touched only one part. Perhaps if you put all the parts together, you will see the truth. Each man in his story was right? Based on his own understanding and his viewpoint. Yet, to the others, each one was wrong. And when you pull back far enough beyond the right and wrong, you can see the big picture, right? You can see the truth, the wholeness of everything and everyone. And that truth is that we are all one. But usually we walk around in this world in our own little worlds, right? Based on our own viewpoints. And we bump up against each other as we're walking, defending and attacking our own little worlds. It's a sword, it's a wall, it's a rope. The danger lies is when we get so attached to being right, so firm in our own opinions and viewpoints that there is no room for anything else. There's no more room for possibilities and potentiality. This is why wars are fought, acts of terrorism happens, and the political divide happens. And it is so easy to look outside of ourselves and say, yeah, if only those people out there would stop doing this, that, or the other, then we would all have peace. But what if there was no outside? And what if there are no others? What if we take responsibility for what is occurring on the seemingly outside as a reflection of what is occurring within each of us? What wars are we creating in our own lives by this insistent need of the ego to be right? And how can we tap into this idea of oneness and wholeness as a catalyst for change and healing and taking inspired action for a world that works for all? Rumi, the Sufi mystic, said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about the ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make sense. So beyond the idea of right and wrong is a field where there's even that phrase, each other, doesn't make sense. This is the field of oneness. Knowing that truly that there is only one thing happening right here and right now. And that one thing is always happening, always, every single day, every minute, every second of every day. That one life, it is the life of God. It is the life of good. It is that one energy, source, and presence that is back of all things. It is the essence, the true nature of who we are. We are all interconnected. We are all one. And we are all a part of this very same energy and essence that lives and breathes through each of us, as us. There is no God and, there is no us and them, there is only love. All is energy in this field of pure potentiality. It's where we live and move and have our being, because love is what is real. Yet most of us walk around asleep, feeling separate, feeling like we are this physical body until we have an experience, a moment that reminds us of our connection with each other and with all of life. And sometimes this comes in the form of a great tragedy or loss. It's when our hearts are busted open with love and compassion, and we are reminded of our connection and our humanity. For me, I experience this palpable sense of oneness and connection when I'm out in nature. And I'm sure there's many more of you in here that can feel that as well. When I'm out in nature, nothing else matters. None of the should-haves, could-haves, would-haves. Because what matters in that moment is being present, being awake and aware of the things that are happening around me, feeling that connection, feeling grateful. So there are many moments available for us to experience this, and maybe even in the moments of a sunrise or a sunset, those moments of awe and wonder. So there are many moments available for us to experience this oneness. Love is always everywhere present because love is. And it is up to us to see it, to seek it, and to reveal it. We live in harmony by accepting our uniqueness, embracing the diversity in society, our planet, as well as within our own souls. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, said, "We should waste no time in futile arguments. Let us try to find the thread of truth running through all the systems. Let us build on the affirmative and forget the negative. Spend time in unprofitable argument is a waste of energy." Let's say that one again. Time spent in unprofitable argument is a waste of energy. That is so good. Whew. Just think about how much energy we waste arguing and defending ourselves or our position, trying to prove that we are right. And how many times when you are talking and defending yourself, you have that little, that little voice in your head saying, "But I'm right, I'm right." But are we all the time? Can we take that moment to just stop and pause and take a step back and look at the big picture? Every part of the elephant, right? So we can either choose to be right, and that ego likes to do that, or we can choose to be happy or to live in peace. We must find that common ground to live in harmony. What I have come to realize, especially in my relationships with those close to me, is that it's so much easier and brings so much more peace when I can just let things go. When I can let go of the need to be right or to have things my way. Did I hear a little control in there? So we have to let go of that control and let go of the ego and set that down. And when I let go of how things should or shouldn't be, and what he, she, or they should or shouldn't do. All of these shoulds are just my own judgments and opinions. And really the only one that is affected by them is me. So there are many different ways to do life, as there are people on this planet. And yet we think we should walk through life and that everyone should do this exact same thing that we are doing. It's a snake, it's a sword, it's a wall. But understanding that we are all one means honoring the divinity in each other, every unique person on this planet. Oneness doesn't mean sameness. It means seeing and acknowledging others for their unique path, perspective, and life experiences. Thich Nhat Hanh said in Spiritual Ecology, The Cry of the Earth, "The world is not a problem to be solved. It is a living being to which we belong. The world is part of our own self, and we are part of its suffering wholeness." Until we go to the root of our image of separateness, there can be no healing. And the deepest part of our separateness from creation lies in our forgetfulness of its sacred nature, which is also our own sacred nature. When we forget who we are, it's easy to act without consideration, care, or respect for others. Life is a transcendent and perfect whole that contains and embraces all seemingly opposites. Truly, there is nothing to heal, only God to reveal. Dr. Holmes says, look for the thread of truth, that which we also know as the golden rule, right? Many of us have heard that, the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or it could be said, what you do unto others will be done unto you. Because there are no others. What we put out into the world, we experience on some level, in some way, because we are living in this field of interconnectedness. And everything is energy. So I want to leave you with this. Are we deciding that it is more important to be right or to experience living in harmony? There is a field of oneness beyond right and wrong. Let's meet there. And so it is. Let's go into prayer. So it is in this field of oneness that there is only one power, one presence, one life, one source in back of it all that I know today as pure love, as peace, as joy, as wholeness. For as this is the truth of the one mind, it is also the truth as each of us here today. We are that very same life. For I know that all that Spirit is, we are. For there is only oneness. There is no us and them. It is all one. We are here holding each other and walking each other home through our life experiences, teaching and learning and growing and evolving in this world. And I'm so grateful to know this truth, and I am grateful to speak my word knowing this. As I release this prayer into the law, knowing that it is already done, knowing that the universe always says yes, as I allow it to be, by saying, and so it is.